How do, one and all? It's that time of week again. It's time to do some more reading of our story. So we'll crack on with chapter 22 in a moment. As usual, we'll just do a quick recap of last week's before we get started. So in chapter 21 last week, we'd had the end of the meeting with the scientists at Eric's house. They'd taken on board George's suggestion that they could try and save planet Earth and look for other places to live, and they were going to do that. And then when all of the scientists had left, Eric found a letter lying about in his house, and George thought he recognised the handwriting on it, but he didn't show it to George. Eric read this note, and then sort of without much warning, he became really excited. Cosmos opened up a portal for Eric to go and explore, and he jumped through and kind of left George with very little explanation, and George was just left in the living room. So that's where we'd left it last week. Hope you have to go, manage to try some of the questions from that, and then we'll move on with this chapter for this week. Now it's only a short one this week, so we'll get through it in no time, and then we'll have some questions at the end. Chapter 22. After the door to outer space closed, there was a moment of deathly silence in the library. It was broken by the sound of a tune playing very faintly in the background. George looked around to see who might be humming, but then he realised it was Cosmos, singing a little song to himself as he crunched the long string of numbers that were flashing across his screen. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba, tootled Cosmos. Cosmos, said George, who wasn't feeling very happy about Eric's sudden departure. He certainly didn't feel like whistling a merry tune. Said Cosmos in reply. Cosmos, repeated George. Where is Eric gone? Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. Cosmos carried on cheerfully, rolling reams of endless numbers across his screen. Cosmos, said George once more, and this time with more urgency. Stop singing. Where has Eric gone? The computer stopped mid-hum. He's gone to find a new planet, he said, sounding rather surprised. I'm sorry you don't like my music, he continued. It was just some singing while I worked, just to keep me going. Pum-pa-pum-pa-pum-pa-pum, and he started again. Cosmos, yelled George. Where is he? Well, that's hard to say, replied Cosmos. How come you don't know? Said George, surprised. I thought you knew everything. Unfortunately not. I don't know what I have not been shown. Do you mean that Eric's lost? No, not lost. His travels uncover new places for me. I follow him, and I map the universe. Oh, all right, said George, relieved to know that Eric wasn't lost. Fine. I mean, I suppose it must be something really special that he's gone to see, for him to just brush off like that. Oh, no, interrupted Cosmos. Just another undiscovered part of the universe, all in a day's work. George was feeling a bit confused now, because if that was the case, why had Eric just shot off into outer space in such a tearing hurry? I mean, he'd thought that Eric was his friend and that, unlike other adults, he had explained what he was up to and why, but he hadn't. He'd just gone. For a split second, George wondered about grabbing a spacesuit, asking Cosmos to open the portal, and then joining Eric. But then he remembered how furious Eric had been after he and Annie had gone into outer space without his permission. He realised sadly they would have to just go home now. Maybe Eric wasn't really his friend at all, but just another grown-up who didn't think it mattered whether George understood stuff or not. He picked up his wet coat and his school bag, and he made for the door. Cosmos was still humming his little melody in the background. George opened Eric's front door to leave, and he was just about to step out into the street when a sudden flash of memory. There had been 2 reasons why he'd come to see Eric today, and he'd only managed to tell him about one of them, the science competition. In all the excitement, he'd quite forgotten to warn Eric about Dr. Reaper and his strange questions that he'd been asking George. The letter. George now remembered. It's Greeper. George had overheard him asking the bullies to deliver a note. That must be the letter that Eric had received. And Reaper had asked if Eric had disappeared. George turned and he rushed straight back into the house, leaving the door wide open behind him. In the library, Cosmos was still at work. On the desk in front of him, George spotted the letter that Eric had read with such joy. He read it through, his hands shaking as he realised who had written it. Dear Eric, I understand that your long-standing quest to find new planets to inhabit isn't yet over. I wanted to draw your attention to a very particular planet I happen to have found. It is roughly the size of the Earth and lies at about the same distance from its star as the Earth is from Sun. As far as I know, there has never been such a strong candidate planet for humans to settle on. I am pretty sure it has an atmosphere like ours, an atmosphere we could breathe. I'm not in a position to verify this information, but I very much look forward to hearing what you think of it. Please see below for the coordinates of the planet, or rather, a way to reach it. Scientifically yours, G.R. George knew perfectly well who G.R. was. The handwriting was all too familiar to him. He recognised it from his school reports, which usually said things like, George will amount to nothing unless he learns to pay attention in class and stop daydreaming. It was without doubt written by Dr. Reaper. And Creeper knows that Cosmos exists. It must be a trap, George thought. Cosmos, he said out loud, interrupting the computer, who was now humming Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You have to take me to Eric, right now. Can you find him? I can try, replied Cosmos, and a succession of images appeared on his screen. The first one looked like a starfish, with long arms twisted into some sort of spiral, and above it was written, Our galaxy, the Milky Way. Now, our galaxy, the Milky Way, is made up of approximately 200 billion stars, Cosmos started. Our star, the Sun, is just only one of them. And that's where we leave it for this week. Like I said, just a short chapter, and then we'll be able to pick up the rest of that next time. So the questions will be coming up in a second. Same advice as always. If there's anything that you're unsure of, watch the video back, pause it, make some notes, usual things. Think about the stuff we've been working on in class recently, and then have a go at those questions and see how you get them. Okay.